Live. Howdy, howdy, howdy. Running just a little bit behind us, having some little technical issues with the laptop, but got it all going. And I am so happy to have y'all here this evening. Welcome to Cliff Notes, episode 175. A good April, what do they say? April showers bring May flowers. We've certainly had our share of showers down here in Houston, Texas, Oklahoma, everywhere else. We'll talk all about that. But in the meanwhile, rainy days and Mondays get me down. I feel, well, let me start by just saying welcome to all of y'all. What's my train of thought? I don't know. SKD 143. How could I almost forget that? It's because I'm flustered because I'm trying to get everything put together. SKD 143. Love my wife, love my kids, love reality TV, loving Survivor, and love all you guys out there as well that are watching live and watching on replay, both. Either one. Thank you. Fun Monday night to come spend with me. So thank you for that. Now, last week we had Brian Hostetler on here. Thank you, Brian. Had so much fun doing it. We got a few more folks we're going to do it as well. So between now and Big Brother season, we're going to take care of some stuff. Jake Horror Movie Geek is saying enjoyed Brian's episode with Cliff last week. Yeah, I did too. That was fun. I just like so many. I feel like every time I get one of y'all on, I could talk for hours. Really could. It's just so much fun hanging out with you guys. So hello to all of y'all. Let me look real quick and see who's out here, and then we got a few stories here and there. No huge topics. So whatever y'all want to ask, bring it on. This is dangerous saying that, but I trust y'all guys. We'll have fun talking about it. All right, let's see who's out there. Brian Hosser. First of all, Brian, thank you so much. It was fun last week. Mark Taylor as well. Yeah, we'll talk a little Survivor. Let's see. Jake the Horror Movie Geek, I mentioned. Hey, Jake, how are you, sir? Marilyn Sutherland. Kennedy Franken. Hey, Kennedy, how are you? Terry Thomas. Ma, welcome aboard, Ma. Hope you're doing well. Hope school's going well. You got to be getting near the end, right? Of the semester. Karen Loveland, Cindy. Hi, Cindy. How are you? Let's see. Karen Hummer. I hope you're doing well, Karen. Talked about your birthday just a little while back, so I hope you're doing well with a whole new year. It's your birthday year, right? Just like Jasmine on Big Brother. Colleen, how are you? See Ed Brewer as well. Ed, howdy, sir. And who else do we have on? Bing Bong. I gotta forget you, Bing Bong. Marilyn, I think I mentioned your name, but I don't mind mentioning it again. Cass Wash. That's a bit of a tongue twister. I'll have to practice on that one. Andy W. And who else do we have out here? I guess it may be about Wyatt Garrett. All right, I didn't want to forget you. Welcome aboard, Tammy Flanagan, Vicky Stone. Ryan 51, and let's see, is that about it? Yeah, that we'll call it good. Anyone else that comes afterwards, post a message out there. Hey, can I just say this? I spend so much time talking to all you guys. I just want to thank my wife, Sharon, who helps me with all the messages that come through and everything, because I can't read them all. And so she helps me as much as possible so I don't miss too many of them. And if I do miss one, it's probably just because I just couldn't keep up. So anyway, welcome aboard. Why did I say at the very start? Rainy days and Mondays get me down. Speaking of Sharon, she gave me a hard time. I don't know if y'all have gone out and seen the Instagram reminder that I put about the show and the reminder here on YouTube for the show. She said it looked way sad. Me standing under an umbrella, me with, I don't know, an avatar with me with my head down with the rain coming on me. And I was playing Prince's Purple Rain, which I don't know. I guess that's a sad song. It's a slow song, perhaps. I love Prince's Purple Rain. Such a fantastic movie, such an amazing album. Sharon and I were talking about it over the weekend. There was something that came up, and someone talked about Prince mentioning, I think it was maybe, I don't know, something with Back to the Future. And they mentioned 1985, or is it 1999? And we were talking about at some point in time, 1999 seemed like such a future part, so far forward in the future. Prince is singing about 1999 back in the 80s and all that. 1999 was 25 years ago. Is that not amazing? Almost pretty much a lot of the people, I don't know, I say the people I was in the Big Brother house with, that was 2019. So yeah, I guess they were all born in 1999, but just barely. It's amazing we've gone that far past. Anyway, I didn't mean for it to all sound sad with the rain, but we have had a lot of rain down here. in this area. We had tornadoes. I don't want to make light of the tornadoes that hit Nebraska. They had some hit in Sulphur, Oklahoma. Uh, rough. I mean, the lives were lost. That stuff, don't mess around. We woke up this morning, 4:30 or so in the morning, with the emergency alarms going off, and we were right in the path of a tornado. Maybe a 5 square mile area, so we're kind of right in the middle of where it was supposed to be coming. That'll wake you up quick. I just sitting there laying in bed waiting to hear the sound of a train coming, which isn't a train. Fortunately, we're fine. No worries. Not any huge worries. But while we're at it, before we move on to some other things, I got a couple of rainstorm stories. Starting off with Cliff's Hogs bonehead move of the year so far. We celebrated my birthday over the weekend. For those of you who don't know, I had a birthday on Wednesday. Went and ate dinner with my daughter and son-in-law. Great dinner. Went and ate, had a little breakfast at night, which I love me breakfast 24 hours a day. Did that on Wednesday. Then yesterday on Sunday, met up with my son and daughter-in-law who live out of town, live in Austin, but they came in, so we got a chance to go eat with them as well. Any birthday where I get to hang with my kids is a great birthday. So Sharon and I got to do that. My son got me a birthday gift, kind of big, a cooker for the backyard. And unfortunately, when we got home, I unloaded it from the car, opened the door, got this big old heavy thing, took it inside. I may have forgotten to close the back door. Yeah, as y'all saw in Big Brother, I had a little bonehead move 2019, talking a little too loud. Christy overheard me. Bonehead move 2024, leaving the back door open to a car when it's pouring down rain all night long. Yeah, I woke up this morning, getting ready to go make some sales calls, see some people and all that. I open the door, think, uh-oh, that's not a good sign because that door is wide open. Now, fortunately, I was parked under a tree, so I guess it could have been worse. It doesn't seem like it because there was a lot of water in the quite a lot of water in the back seat, and so I had to run inside, grab a towel, come out and soak as much of it as I could up. Right now, I've got all the windows rolled down in the car, so we had a little. Hope it's not raining right now. We had a little sun come out this afternoon, so use that to dry it out a little bit. It'll be all right, just not what I'd planned on. I told Sharon, I said, well, at least it was in the back seat on the passenger side, so it's not going to affect me while I drive all around town. I'll just deal with it later when I get back to the house. Here's something I hadn't counted on. I closed the door, driving to work. I quickly realized that apparently when the rain is coming down, mosquitoes must not like rain because they all came inside the car to hide away from the rain. So I'm driving down the highway and I suddenly realized there's 20, 30, 40 mosquitoes just swarming all over the car as soon as I turn the AC on. They're flying my face, they're landing on miserable. Forget the rain. It's the mosquitoes that were driving me crazy. So here I am with it pouring down rain. Every time I get to an intersection that has a bridge, overhead pass, overpass or something like that, I'm rolling down my windows as long as I can to get these mosquitoes to get out of there. And eventually they all left. But yeah, it was a rough start to the day for me down here with the weather and all that. So, it is what it is. We all have our good days. We all have our bad days. But I tried to find the humor on it. I called Sharon and said, well, the water's not so bad. The mosquitoes, a little more irritating. So here in Texas, we get mosquitoes about like that. They look like little hummingbirds sometimes. They're bad. The only place I've ever been to that had worse mosquitoes in Texas was up in Alaska. In Alaska, once everything thaws out a little bit, they get mosquitoes that look like blackbirds or vultures up there. They're huge. I don't know how they can penetrate the skin because they're things are so long. So yeah, Alaska's got us beat on state size and mosquito size. Kind of peeved about one of them. The other one, they can have it. So anyway, there's my story. We may tell a few more rainstorm stories going forward, but let me look at some of y'all's questions real quick. Mark Taylor on Survivor. What do you think of the game? McKenzie, can Maria win it all? She's strong. And Andy W saying Survivor's been crazy. Never know what will happen next. Let me address the second one first. I don't know what it is about this season. it does seem like it's been crazier. I don't know if it's the contestants they have. I mean, look at Q, who just churns everything up. I just, between him and Venus, who I'm starting to like more and more just because she's just kind of a don't give a dang kind of woman that just wants to, she doesn't care what you think about her. She's there to win the game and she'll be as devious as she needs to be and all of that. I'd hate to play the game with her. I'd be paranoid about trying to work with her, which may cost her in the end, but I think she may last for a while. But yeah, it's crazy. Q, they start off last week again talking about him. I don't know. I just feel like Q didn't like not being in charge or feeling he was in control. So he was ready to throw the whole thing out the door. And he said something last week about, even when I volunteer, they still can't get me out. Well, no, they just had a target rich environment. They had people they wanted out more than you, Q. I think if somehow Q made it to the end, I think him talking about wanting to get sent home is going to cost him. Even if he tries to say, it was all strategy, I never would have actually gone home. I think there's people who are going to say, well, no, we almost sent you home and your unwillingness to fight, we're not going to give you the money. I think Q may have cost himself $1 million. I don't think he'll make it to the end anyway, because he's too much of a uncertainty, unreliable when it comes down to it. No one's going to want to work with him that long, I don't think. I got to say, I was a little surprised that Hunter went home. He had an idol. How many? Is this like the third person this season that had an idol and went home with the idol in their pocket? And he knew he was a target. Some people you say, well, yeah, they thought they were underneath the radar and it didn't work out. Hunter and Charlie were the last two. First of all, spoiler alert. If you haven't seen the episode, I kind of ruined a whole lot too much, but sorry about that. Charlie and Hunter were the last two in the immunity challenge. He's a huge competitor and he's got an idol. Of course they're going to vote him out if they get a chance. I don't know why he didn't play the idol. I know he was saying, I can use it to work with other people. I think you have to protect yourself sometimes. And I think he just got a little too cocky thinking that he was safe. He listened to too many people that tribal and just decided to roll the dice. I would feel so bad. And these guys probably aren't going to get a chance to play the game again. So they're going to spend the rest of their lives thinking, God, I had this idol. Who knows if I could have lasted just one more week, what would have happened? Excuse me. Getting all a little worked up on Survivor. Yeah, it surprised me a little bit that he went home. All right, Mark is saying, what do you think of the game of Kinsey and can Maria win it all? Kinsey, I mean, obviously the longer she stays, the better chance she has, right? Maybe she's getting the edit that she will make it to the end. Perhaps so. I think she'll go far. I don't think she's going home anytime soon. I just think people are going to eventually get her out, not out of hatred or fear or anything else, but just because I don't know. Maybe it's a little bit of mistrust. I just don't know if people are going to feel like they can necessarily trust her. Maria, I think she's going to do fantastic, and more power to her if she can, because I probably wouldn't have picked her at the very beginning of the season, but she's been working with Charlie, right? Seems like she's got a nice little group of people all around her. I haven't heard her name mentioned too much. She seems to be doing well. Liz, I think it's funny that she got upset that she felt like people stole her thunder in trying to get out. Who'd she get out? Liz, I think. I can't remember at this point in time. But anyway, I don't know. There's still several people in there I think are going to do fantastic. All right, Jake the Horror Movie Geek saying, who do you want to win Survivor? I'm hoping for Ben or Charlie. I always forget about Ben. Ben, I would not have guessed at the beginning, but he's doing well. I think everyone really likes him. They like Charlie as well. I don't always cheer for the person who's just the comp beast from start to finish, because reflection of how I play reality and Big Brother and all that. I didn't go and think I was going to be the comp beast. I thought I was going to have to be a strategic player. And so I always feel like I have a little bit more in common with a strategic player. So, someone like a Maria, I'd be happy to see her win, just because I feel like she's working it and she's doing what she needs to do. Ben's probably in the same position, right? I mean, he's he's not winning them the way that maybe Charlie or Hunter were. So I maybe would go with Ben or Maria, but nothing against Charlie. If he makes it to the end, there's really not anyone. I'm trying to think of the people who are like, even Venus, who again, I feel like she's, whether she's truly like this or it's just the way the edit's going, but being spun as a bit of a villain, but she's just thriving as a villain. So it's time for a villain to win every once in a while. We had Richard Hatch in season 1. Speaking of, I don't know if y'all had seen, but Sonia, who was the very first person ever voted out of Survivor, season 1, episode 1, passed away, I think, last Wednesday or so, about last week at some point in time. She was 87, 84. I think she was in her 60s when she actually went on the island to start with. I saw a little clip of her playing the ukulele and Richard's there with her and all of that. But yeah, I remember that season. I remember that episode. Very first person to ever go home on Survivor. But she's got a legacy because anyway. But yeah, rest in peace to Sonia and all that. Kind of forgotten about her until I saw those clips. So you go. All right, Brian, I started saying 2 weeks left before casting closes on Big Brother. I didn't know that, but Brian, thank you so much. I gotta get my tape in. What would they do if I sent in a tape? They'd probably just throw it away. Say, yeah, no, you had your chance. Sorry, but we'll call you if we were interested, Cliff. But no, okay, 2 weeks left. That means if you haven't already sent in a tape, I don't care if you were saying, yeah, I don't know if I'd really do it or not. What do you have to lose? The worst that'll happen, you'll send in a tape. Not the worst that'll happen because it'd still be pretty cool. But you send in a tape, they reach out to you and say, hey, we'd love to talk to you. And then you decide. I'm sure casting would hate that if they offered you a spot and then you say, yeah, no. They did that to me a lot during my trial. I guess just because I knew I had a white collar job and all that, I had some of the casting people repeatedly, or actually not even casting, some of the people on the show itself, the executive producers say, Cliff, are you still thinking you want to do this? Is this still something you're interested in? It's like, yeah, how can I not do it? Don't think I'm going to back out last minute. I'm good to go. Please don't make that part of your decision that you don't know that I'll actually do it because I'm going to do it. But yeah, so what's the worst that's going to happen? The worst that'll happen is you'll never hear anything, and then it hadn't cost you anything. The best that'll happen is you'll make it on the show. Somewhere in between, you may get a call. You may get a little more practice speaking before camera, talking to people, and thinking about what makes you stand out and all that. I think a little introspection is always good to know. And here's the other thing too. I also know some people have sent me DMs before and things like that saying, oh, tryouts are almost over, or the audition period, I'll just wait till next year because they've probably already picked their people and all that. Don't believe it for a second. Now, I got picked pretty early. I did a casting call in February my season. I think I was one of the very first people probably to get called into the next steps and all of that. But there were people in my season, Nicole Anthony and David Alexander both did their finals over in LA late May, just a few weeks before the show started. And they still had people over in LA that they were talking to and all that. Now, it may have changed a little bit because of COVID and a different casting group and all that. But they're trying to figure out how to make those puzzle pieces work right up to the very end. So whether you're 2 weeks from the beginning of the auditions or 2 weeks from the end, it doesn't matter. There may be people over there saying, oh my gosh, we just need this one person to make everything fit. And maybe that's you. I've told you before how excited I'd be. Don't let me down by not sending in a tape. We all deserve a chance to get on there, and I'd love to see you. All right, Karen Loveland saying, Friday on Jeopardy, none of the contestants knew Julie Chen hosted Big Brother. The category was TV host, and they gave her name, and no one rang in. Well, that's just downright embarrassing, isn't it? How could you not know that? I guess they're so busy learning trivia. I would have been sitting there. Sometimes you watch Jeopardy and there's someone that's just pushing a buzzer and it's no big deal. Then you see someone who's getting frustrated that they're not ringing in, they're not pushing it timing wise, and they're over there with that buzzer just pushing over and over. That would be me. As soon as I mentioned Julie Chen's name, I'd be pushing that button. I'd probably yell out the answer first, whether I actually got picked or not. How could you not? I mean, all the reality shows. Phil and Jeff and Julie and Anderson Cooper used to do the mole, and Chris was Chris Williams that did Big Bachelorette, right? Bachelor. I don't know. I didn't watch that quite as much, but yeah, you would think that everyone would know those things just because they've been on the show so long. But yeah, everyone has their little black spots or little memory lapses in terms of areas they know well. So put me on Jeopardy and give me a topic of Big Brother or reality TV. I think I'll do pretty well. I guarantee I'll do better than, I don't know, Germanic opera or the Victorian age clothing or something like that. I always watch Jeopardy, and there's a few categories where I just do fantastic. It's like, oh, geez, why am I not on the show? I would do so well. I'd love to do the show. And then they have a few other categories where, yeah, I don't get a single one right. And I realize just how embarrassing it truly would be for some of those categories. I don't know how they memorize as much as they do. It's like the kids who win these spelling bees every year in Washington, D.C. How can you learn 40-letter words that no one can even pronounce, and yet these kids can just drum it off in a heartbeat? Incredible what the human mind can do. All right, Cindy Hire saying, finished last term with a B, got an A on my final project. Now get a break for it. Now on a break for a week. Well, first of all, congratulations on that. An A on the final project. Thumbs up to that. Double thumbs up for that. That's fantastic. Everything I've heard, I talked to some professors at A&M right after I got out of the Big Brother house. They had me go there, and I showed up at showed up at the college and got to visit the engineering department and things like that. And they told me everything in college now is about collaboration. And, it's great, do great on tests and all that, but really they want to see how you work together as a team and how you handle projects and things like that, because that's so much of what you do in the real world. So congratulations, Cindy. That's pretty good. And Ma saying the final 24 hours of the semester. You're almost there. And Tammy Flanagan saying on a flight back to San Diego. Well, you guys are just wrapping up all kinds of stuff, flying back and forth and just making a fine old time of it, aren't you? Well, I was going to say have fun in San Diego. I hope you had fun in San Diego and have fun wherever you're, as they say on the airlines, wherever your final destination may be. Enjoy, and thank you for flying with United or Southwest or whoever it may be. But yeah, well, Ma, study hard. You got just a little bit of time. I remember some of those cram sessions up nights on end trying to get ready for everything else. Bing Bong saying, did you hear the news on Survivor 50? Who do you hope returns? Yes, Jeff Probst. For those of you who haven't heard, Jeff Probst has made it official that yes, Survivor season 50 is going to be returning players. Now, y'all tell me, I saw the blurb. I haven't seen details. He didn't go into detail about whether it's going to be like recently, like players since the Winners at War and some of that, or is it just going to be across all 50 seasons? Nothing against the early players, and I'd be curious to see how they did, but I kind of hope they keep it to the last half, the last third of Survivor. And we get a chance to see some of these people who, played great games, but maybe just didn't quite make it. I'm trying to think who I would like to see come back. There's a few winners like Marianne. I'd love to see Gabler. I know not everyone's a big fan of Gabler. I'd like to see him come back and see how. I just want to see how some of the winners do if they come back after play a second season. Do they play the exact same game? Do they flip it around a little bit? That's what I'd like to see on some of those. And then I've got some personal favorites. I like Tony. I know a lot of people didn't like Tony, but I've always liked him. Who else? JT, Ben. Fan of Ben. I've met him before. A nice guy. Karishma. I'd love to see Karishma come back. Did she play an amazing game? Yeah, no, she played okay, but I'm friends with Karishma. She lives down here in Houston. It just would be a lot of fun to see her get back on there now that I know her so well and see her play the game. I don't know. I'm pretty open to it. I need to go back and look at a list of recent players over, say, the last 20 seasons or so and figure out. I don't know, though. When they have returning players, when you've got however many coming back, Would you take 18 players and have 3 tribes of 6 like they've done for so many of these recent seasons? Maybe. And maybe that's not a bad way to do it, but I just feel like sometimes you could have a player who's really good that just happens to be on a team with 5 other people. It just doesn't quite work for them. And through no huge fault of their own, they may go home early. I kind of would like to see if you had returning players, just have everyone get maybe a little bit more of a fair shot. Have 2 tribes of 10 or 2 tribes of 9, however you want to do it. Let's make it a jumbo season. What, 3 tribes of 8? That'd be all right with me. You got a little more room to hide to the start and work your magic and all of that. It would kill me. I love Big Brother, where there were 16 people that could potentially get put on that target list, or 15, I guess, because someone's HOH. Big Brother, if you just happen to be on that losing team, you may be a pretty good player. You may have all kinds of stuff going for you, but if just the random draw of the buffs and all of that puts you on a team where other tribes out have a majority over you, you're gone no matter what. And I know luck comes into play in any of these reality shows, but yeah, I like to see a little bit more bigger tribes to start with, just so I feel like everyone has a bit more of a chance. When they're all new players, someone goes home early on one of those tribes. Well, we didn't really know them anyway, so you don't feel that personal relationship to them. Jelinski, Donald, some of those. Yeah, they went home early, but we didn't get to know them, so it didn't really hurt. It didn't feel the same way as if it was someone that we came in really cheering for them, and then they were gone first episode just because it didn't work out. So I don't know. We'll see, but I'm excited. I think I've said before, I'm never a big fan of having just 1 or 2 returning players, whether that's Survivor, Big Brother, any of these reality shows. Either have them all returning or have them all new. Unless it's all new and Cliff Hogg, and then we'll make special exceptions because, just because. But now normally I don't mind returning players every once in a while, as long as it doesn't happen too often. There for a while, Big Brother seemed like every season was bringing back just a few players. No, not my favorite little era of Big Brother. All right, Ed Brewer saying, agreed about, let's see, why can't agreed about mosquitoes, lived in Anchorage for a few years. I gotta say, Ed, I don't know that I would have ever said this before I went up there. Anchorage in the winter, incredible. Anchorage in the summer, if you're taking a cruise up the river or something, maybe so, and you get to see the moose. Yeah, there's things to do in the summer. The only time I was up there was very quick little trips, and I just remember the mosquitoes. But in the wintertime, as an old Texas boy who's grown up in the heat and all that, it was kind of magical to be up in Anchorage. I drove a little further south they've got a ski resort there. I just remember driving down a road that said, don't honk your horn because it's an avalanche risk. Scared to death. Man, I was looking up at that thing the whole time thinking, I hope no one else honks their horn or geese honks its horn or something. Seeing a glacier and all that. It's so cold and all that. It's just kind of ate reindeer steak while I was up there. Hopefully not Santa reindeer steak, but I love Anchorage in the wintertime. Then you go even further north to Nome and Dead Horse. Never a good sign when the city you're working in is called Dead Horse, Alaska, but that's what I did. Yeah, I love Anchorage. It's very isolated. You talk about spending a lot of money on groceries and things like that. It's expensive up in Alaska. They don't have an income tax, but you pay for it in the cost of living and all that. But yeah, Ed, I didn't know you from Anchorage or worked up there. I loved it up there. All right, Karen Berkey saying, saw a preview for Deal or No Deal Island. I'm loving this show. Absolutely loving it. Deal or No Deal Island. Crossing my fingers, it sounded like Aaron was going after Rob. I love the relationship between Aaron and Rob because it's like Rob's this dynamite. And Aaron's just knowing that he's a huge weapon and you don't want him working against you, but also realizing that at some point you may not be able to work with him to the very end. I feel like that's where Aaron is right now, but they're so different the way they work. I gotta say, Rob is just, I think I said this last week, I'm impressed that he has played the game so well. Everyone should see him as the number one target, and they're aiming for him, and yet he somehow just kind of survives every week. Even last week, and I don't want to give spoilers away because I know not everyone watches this, but even when he's in a lot of trouble, just random stuff sometimes happens, and you survive anyway. I've enjoyed it. I've enjoyed this season. The only thing that I don't really like about the way they do it, I feel like if they do this again, they need to change the rules a little bit. For those of you who watched it, you'll understand. For those of you who haven't, it's a little tough to follow, but you have to be, when they offer you a deal at the end, if you take it, it has to be a better deal than what was in your case, right? And so you're really, because of that, you're hoping that what's in your case is some incredibly small number, which means it works to your disadvantage if you end up with a whole lot of high dollar amounts on the board and all the low dollar amounts go away, because then the odds are better that if you make a deal, you're going home because your number is going to be one of those big numbers, which I feel goes kind of against the whole spirit of the game, that you want your suitcase to be one of the high dollars. And in reality, that's not it. I guess it's a conflict between, you want it to be low for your own personal safety, but on the other hand, in terms of playing at the very end for the biggest bucks possible, maybe you want it super high. I don't know. I realize a lot of times when they're playing this, it's like, oh, you don't want to have the 2 million and 3 million up there, because if you do, you're in trouble. And we've seen that happen a couple times. But all that being said, I've loved Deal or No Deal Island. Sharon and I binge watched I think I mentioned this last week because we started last week, but we're still on it, is Love is Blind. Such a cheesy dating show. They meet each other, they fall in love, or whatever the reality TV version is of it. They propose without even seeing each other, and then they decide if they actually want to marry or not. We saw season 6, then found out that season 5 was all Houston contestants. It's like, oh, well, we got to watch season 5 to see if there's anyone we know on there, see if it's anyone that maybe I meet at some reality meetup here in Houston at some point on down the road. No one yet. Everyone on there, I don't recognize the names or anything else, but it's kind of entertaining in its own. I was gonna say trash TV, but that's really not fair to them. It's just, it's light-hearted stuff. I guess I have people whose hearts are getting broken because they think they're in love with someone they've never met, and then that person cuts them loose without ever having met them either. It's kind of sad, some of the people that get so invested, but at the end of the day, it's a game. It's an entertainment show. It's a reality TV show. No one should get their emotions too involved in any of these games that we play. Well, what's worse, getting your heart broke because you think you're going on a show and you're going to get married, or getting your heart broke because you went on a show thinking you could win $1 million and you went home without winning anything? I don't know. I guess it depends on where you are in life and all of that. I already had my love at home. I was going for that $1 million. Didn't work out, but hey, it's just a game. All right, Karen Loveland saying, are you still using the ice cream maker you got at Christmas? Oh, yeah, we are. And it's so funny, Sharon and I'm the risk taker. That's why I went on Big Brother. It's like, yeah, whatever, I'll do it. So I'm the one out there taking all the risk with this ice cream. Sharon does the old tried and true. She fixes the standard flavors of ice cream. I have to experiment a little bit with every one I did. The one we had was at Saturday night. Watching a little Aggie baseball. They had a doubleheader, and watching that. I made peach ice cream, which was a little bit of cream, a whole can of crushed peaches all mixed together, frozen up. And then once it was all frozen up, turned it into ice cream, then put sliced peaches on top. Top notch. Yeah, it's actually fantastic. I enjoyed that. I've had some good successes. I told y'all before, y'all saw me try the flaming hot Cheeto covered ice cream. Not a big fan of the flaming hot Cheeto, but I like the jalapenos mixed in on the inside. I tried to make a peanut butter and jelly ice cream. Yeah, that one didn't work. I tried to make a root beer ice cream. Also didn't work. But everything else has worked out pretty well. I've tried key lime pie, all kinds of strawberry, oranges, peaches. I like the fruit type. It's a little bit like the dreamsicles that they have at Disney World, if you know what I'm talking about, and all that. So it's pretty good. Now, one of my favorites that no one else in my entire family can even understand, will even try, is the vanilla ice cream that has the jalapenos mixed in. It's good. You get the super spice when you bite into certain little pieces. And then you get the other, and then you get the ice cream to cool it all down and all that. Oh, another failure on my part. the chili ice cream. Yes, it was ice cream. Yes, it had a taste of chili. Those two flavors don't necessarily go as well together as I thought they would. The next one I'm going to try, I think, is just an off the wall weird combination. What do you think about macaroni and cheese ice cream? They're both kind of dairy products, right? Macaroni and cheese. Cheese is dairy. Ice cream's dairy. They ought to work well together, right? I may try it. Now, here's the thing. When I eat my macaroni and cheese, I like to put ketchup on it, which drove people. I don't know if I did it while I was in the Big Brother house because I didn't want to get thrown off the show just for grossing people out. But I like ketchup on my macaroni and cheese. I don't know if macaroni and cheese ice cream would be as well with ketchup on it. It would be quite the interesting look, though, huh? Yeah, we'll see how risky I really want to get. I'll do that. I'll let y'all know how it goes. But yes, still using the ice cream maker. It's great. It's a low calorie. Everything we get is 0 calorie type stuff. So it's a fun way to just have fun. Sharon and I make 3 at a time, each of us, and then when we eat one, we compare flavors, and she'll try mine, I'll try hers, unless it's jalapeno, and then she didn't want that. She wouldn't try the chili ice cream. There's a lot that she actually wouldn't try of mine, but yeah, why not? What's the worst that's going to happen? No, not too bad. All right, Chickadee Kenny saying, would love to see views on the challenge. Oh, would love to see Venus on the challenge. She's very strong and determined. She'd be okay. I could see that. Now, would she doesn't strike me as the kind of the beast player that I sometimes picture for challenge players, someone like Tori or KC or even Anissa. Some of the players on the challenge, you can be conniving, you can be strategic and all that, but there's a certain amount of just physical fitness. And why should I say she doesn't have it? There's no reason for me to say that other than just the fact that she doesn't strike me as she is, smaller, petite, and all that. She can be an absolute firecracker in terms of competitions. So I'd love to see her on there. I'd love to see her prove me wrong, because I haven't watched the challenges, but I know sometimes y'all ask if I'm watching it, and I just haven't been as much into it these last couple of seasons because it seems like there have been so many different variations, and I don't know, I just maybe got a little tired of seeing the same players over and over again. I think there's something nice about having some of the same players that carry over vendettas and things from past seasons, but I felt like it just almost got a little too repetitious for the past few seasons. There's just too much going on. Maybe I need to revisit it, but I haven't been as a loyal follower of the challenge here lately. But if Venus went on there, I'd watch. In fact, there's several people from Big Brother. Well, I don't know. Big Brother's had a few folks on there from the challenge that I don't think they did great. Tommy and Sis didn't do really well for my season of the challenge when they went on there. Do y'all know that originally it was going to be Christy going on there? I think Christy and Tommy, or Christy and Sis. I take that back. Christy and Sis were supposed to go on the challenge, and then it just didn't work out. They changed some stuff up, and it didn't quite happen. And then I guess maybe afterwards, I'm not sure if they asked Christy or not. She was busy having babies and getting married, so she was moving on with life. So then they got Tommy and Sis instead, and man, it didn't work out quite as well as they wanted, but I was still there cheering them on. And we had David for my season on as well for a couple of seasons, and he did a little bit better. I'm glad he got a little bit of a redemption because it didn't work out so well for Big Brother, but he finally got a chance on the challenge to at least advance a little bit further. So it was so good for him. All right, Tommy on Broadway, his show just started. Yeah, The Heart of Rock and Roll. Now, here's the thing. I mean, I would have gone to see it no matter what, just to see him dancing and be there and cheering him on and all that. I've heard it's getting some pretty good reviews. Those of you who are up in the New York City area, maybe you've heard a little bit more, but apparently it's kind of an unexpected surprise that a lot of people are saying, yeah, it's not going to win a Tony Award or anything like that. It's not Rent. It's not this huge, that everyone walks away going, oh my God. It's not Hamilton. But apparently it's just a nice, fun, lighthearted Broadway show that a lot of people are really enjoying. So yeah, I'm so proud, happy for Tommy, because I guess shows like that, I mean, I guess it's open-ended in terms of when they end up closing those shows. And once they close, then you're just kind of stuck, until the next show comes along. So for Tommy's sake, I hope it's a a nice, long, drawn out opportunity for him to dance and build up the resume and all that. I know when we were in the Big Brother house, he had to quit Pretty Woman to come on the show, which is tough. I mean, I know how hard it was for me to leave my job, but I can only imagine as a Broadway dancer to say that you're not going to continue to dance. That's got to be difficult, but he did it. I mean, it's his one chance to do it and all. But I know while he's in the house, he was really uncertain because he didn't know if Pretty Woman was still playing and maybe there'd be an opportunity when he got out or if it'd been shut down. And so he talked about that a lot. And then on finale night, as soon as the show's over, Ovi came up and gave him a hug. I think one of the first things Ovi told Tommy was, "Hey, Pretty Woman shut down. It's already gone." And I know Tommy didn't like hearing that. There's so much going on that night. I'm not sure. And that maybe was the best time to tell him because there was so much else to celebrate with us all together and being out of that house. But yeah, I'm glad. I'd love to go back again to New York City and see him in that show. Maybe I'll figure out a way to do it. Maybe it'll be such a huge show that I'll be able to go up there next year and he'll still be playing. I'll get to see him perform. It's so cool that I know a Broadway dancer and actor. Right? That's really cool. All right. Cindy is saying, how about The Circle? Marilyn is loving The Circle. I'm loving The Circle. Now, they dropped the first 4 episodes, right? And I'm trying to remember if I saw all 4 or I just saw the first 3. I've seen, for those of you who don't know, they actually have artificial intelligence as one of the contestants. And they told all the other house guests that one of you is not even a real human. You're artificial intelligence. So they didn't try to keep it a secret. And it's almost more sneaky to do that because now no one knows who. I mentioned this last week, so I won't say it all again. But if there's an AI in there, anything you say, you're going to wonder if it sounds too perfect. And they're going to think you're an AI just because you said the perfect thing or whatever. It just really messes with your head. But yeah, I'm probably a little behind on it because I've only seen the first 3, maybe 4 episodes. But I've enjoyed it. I watched the first couple of seasons of The Circle with Shuby on there and Jack Atkins and all that, and then walked away from a little bit. And now I've picked it back up again. So yeah, it's so much reality TV out there. My favorite, maybe not my favorite reality TV show. I don't want Big Brother to come griping at me for saying it. My second favorite reality TV show after Big Brother was on reality TV channel. I think maybe it's what's called Solitary. If y'all haven't seen it, look it up. I'm sure it's on Wikipedia or somewhere. Bunch of people stuck in pods all by themselves. They have to compete without ever seeing the other people. And it's not, whoever, they have all these tasks to do. Whoever doesn't last the longest doing a task, whoever quits a task first goes home typically. But they don't tell the rest of the house guests or the rest of the contestants that someone has quit. So you could do something like having to jump rope. Maybe you've been jumping rope for 14 hours straight, but you don't know that someone quit in hour number 2. So you just keep on doing it just in fear that everyone else is still doing it. So it really pushes you to the absolute limit every single episode on that stuff. They had 2 or 3 seasons of it. Just mental torture for that show. They had one where they had to listen to Tiny Bubbles, the song being played 36, 48 hours with lights flashing and just CIA probably learned from these guys some of the torture tactics and all of that. I love the show. I wish I'd bring it back. But if you haven't checked it out, go check it out. And then there's the what was the fake I can't remember it now. The Joe Schmo show. I wish I could find that online somewhere. We'll talk about that some other day. I've been a reality TV fan for a long time, guys. All right, let's see. What else do we have on here? Ed Brewer is saying, do they allow smoking on Big Brother still? Yes. As far as I know, I haven't heard any differently. Derek Frazier smoked, right? I think he smoked in his season. So at least back in that season they had it. I think it's still the case. I think it's still the situation they had with mine where they told us, if you want to smoke, you can bring however many cigarettes you can fit in your suitcase, bring it with you. But once you run out, we'll give you nicotine patches and nicotine gum and all of that. But we're not going to give you any more cigarettes. So just depends on how desperate you are to smoke. I don't know how you could do it because you only get to go outside 2 days a week, 2 or 3 days. You're not allowed to smoke inside. Smokers, if they're hooked like they are where they can't barely take an airplane flight because they can't smoke while they're on a plane. I don't know how they stay in a house like Big Brother for 5 days straight without smoking. That seems horrifically bad to me. I also think it's horrifically bad to have a smoker if you aren't a smoker. I grew up, my parents smoked. Well, my mom quit as soon as she was pregnant with me. Thank you, Mom. I appreciate that. My dad smoked a little bit longer. He actually quit when my daughter, Kelly, our firstborn, was his first grandchild was born. I told him, I said, man, don't smoke in the house with the baby. And he said, I'm not smoking at all. Now that I got a granddaughter, I'm done. He stopped that day. He never smoked again for the rest of his life. It's a lot of willpower. But I grew up with the dad who smoked and all that. But now that you don't have them in restaurants and things like that, if I had been stuck in a house and someone in there was smoking, how irritating. That air doesn't smell great in there already because it's all stale and stagnant because you don't have any circulation while you're locked inside. To have a bunch of cigarette smoke in there, no, thank you. I've been to casinos in Louisiana. I know what it's like to have that kind of environment. I don't want it inside the Big Brother house. So yeah, I know one of the Jack. He thought that they could ask him to bring in cigars and all that. It's like, yeah, good luck. You go ahead and ask him, Jack. I'm sure that'll go over fantastic. It didn't. I think he did ask, and they just laughed and said, "Yeah, no, ain't gonna happen, Jack." All right, that's a fact, Jack. All right, Chicky D Kenny saying, "Go live when you try mac and cheese ice cream so we can see your reaction." Okay, all right, it's a deal. I'll make it and try it out, and yeah, we'll do it. I'm looking at maybe changing my platform a little bit from StreamYard to one called Steamlabs. Can't know if I'm pronouncing it correctly. Anyway, I may be making a little bit of a change. So maybe I'll do a bonus video here in the next couple of weeks just to test it out. It's not part of the official Cliff Notes Live. Maybe I'll do that. Maybe that's when I'll try the mac and cheese, which is just another reason that you may want to consider going out there, subscribing to my channel and turning on notifications, because when the mac and cheese episode comes out, who knows what, maybe it depends on how well I think it's going to taste, whether I'll do it prime time or do it like 3 a.m. or something. But Chickadee, I think I may do that. I think that's a great idea. All right, Bing Bong is saying Japan has some weird ice cream flavors like crab and squid ink and octopus. Yeah, I know. They've you know who else does that? Brazil has some weird flavors. But yeah, Japan, I haven't seen as much for ice cream. I've seen it for some of their potato chips and things like that. I know I've been to Japan once and went around. Tell you the story about surviving the Japanese subway once. That's a story in and of itself. But yeah, I know they have some weird flavors over there. I had, while I was in Baku, Azerbaijan, I had squid ink spaghetti, which is near as I can tell, it's just spaghetti with, I don't think squid ink has any flavor. It just means you're eating black spaghetti. And when you get done, your whole mouth is black. That's all I remember from that. But I actually had squid ink spaghetti once. In Abu Dhabi, I ate at a hotel, and they had pizzas. The hotel restaurant had octopus pizzas. And so I ordered it thinking, well, where else are you going to get octopus pizza? They brought out my pizza, and all the octopi, tiny little baby. Is that worse to be eating baby octopus instead of grown up granddaddy octopus? Tiny little size of a nickel spread out across the entire pizza. It actually wasn't bad. Little chewy, little rubbery, but just to say you tried it, it was good. I will say I probably preferred the buttered broiled snails that I ate in Colombia more so than the octopus pizza in Abu Dhabi. But yeah, I'll always try the exotic stuff. Again, I'm the risk taker, and so yeah. Squid ink ice cream, octopus ice cream. I may have to keep that a little bit further down in the list. I can't imagine going to my local grocery store and saying, "Do y'all sell squid ink?" And probably have to go to a specialty store. We've got a very diverse population here in Houston. There's plenty of Asian stores I could go to that probably have all kinds of things I could put in ice cream that would be equally, I don't want to say disgusting, because everyone has their different flavor profiles that they grew up with, right? Equally not as easy to accommodate, right? It's the other show I've been watching. I'll mention it on Hulu, Shogun. I've loved it. I'm in like episode 3 or 4 out of the 8 that are on there, I think. So good that I actually downloaded the ebook, and I'm reading the ebook of James Clavell's Shogun as well. So loving that show. I only mention it because in the book at one point, or in the TV show, he's trying to eat something that apparently is like fermented squid or something, and apparently it's a very strong flavor. Even people in Japan, half of the people love it, half the people hate it. He eats it on the show, and they're saying you may not like this, and he kind of eats it, and baby doesn't. It's probably a little bit like blue cheese here in the United States. People either really like blue cheese. I love blue cheese. Other people, like Sharon, can't stand it. Have no desire to ever put a piece of blue cheese in their mouth. I kind of like it, but very much a difference in taste. All right, Karen Berkey saying, smoke-free 9 years on the 12th of this month. Congratulations, Karen. I know how hard that is. I watched friends and family, as I mentioned, go through that, and that takes a lot of willpower. It's hard. But now, I don't know why a pack of cigarettes costs now, or a carton, probably 30 or 40 bucks. I'm a penny pincher just because of the price alone. There's probably a point where I always say, yeah, I don't care how addicted I am. I'm not paying the money for that. I'd be a horrible cocaine or heroin addict or anyone else, because I'd be saying, yeah, I don't care what my body's doing, whatever. I'm not paying that much for it. But yeah, that's hard. I think just the availability, the legality of it makes smoking just that much harder to overcome in terms of kicking a habit. So congratulations to you. My dad got a lot of extra years of life because of giving up smoking. Got to see extra grandkids and marriages and all that kind of stuff. And Carrie, you're going to be the same way. So I'm proud of you. I am. I know that's not easy at all. So very, very happy for that. All right, let's see. Misfire is saying, is chewing tobacco allowed on Big Brother? And you should try frog legs or some Fear Factor foods. All right. I've tried frog legs. I worked in Lafayette, Louisiana for a while, and I actually tried frog legs. They're okay. They're like little skinny pieces of chicken or something. Taste like chicken. In this case, they kind of were. They were just like little, I don't know. There wasn't a lot of meat on the bones when you're talking frog legs. Maybe I was eating the wrong kind of frog. I don't know what the right kind of frog is. Maybe some of those bullfrogs or something. It was okay. And it's not something I'd ever go back to. Same way with alligator. I've had alligator. I've had frog legs while I was in Louisiana. Yeah, okay. Whatever. I won't go back to either one. So we'll see that. What was the other? Chewing tobacco was the other question. I don't think so. I don't remember what they told me. I have a feeling, I don't know. If they allowed chewing tobacco, I'm almost 100% it would not be allowed indoors. That's disgusting in a whole different way. All it takes is one person to take a drink of what they think is their bottle of water or Coke or whatever, and realize that no, it's someone else's dip bottle, to turn you off chewing tobacco forever, as though you need reasons. But yeah, I don't think so. There's way too much spitting involved when you're talking chewing tobacco. So I don't think there's. I'll ask the question though. I'll find some people and ask them. I'm sure there's a few folks over the years who were tobacco chewers. Caleb Reynolds, I bet he may have chewed a little tobacco in his lifetime. I tried it in about 7th grade just because that was the cool thing that kids did. We didn't smoke, but everyone thought it was cool being country kids and all that. Growing up in Texas, ooh yeah, we're gonna have some skull. Yeah, it's disgusting. No way. Wasn't a big fan of chewing tobacco ever, and now I'm glad I wasn't. But yeah, I don't think it's allowed. I've got all my rules and regulations. I tell you what, I'll look through there and I'll see if it mentions anything specifically one way or the other. I'll do that. I'll find out for y'all, and maybe remind me next week, and I'll see if I can't find between now and then rules on chewing tobacco, because I don't know. I doubt it, but don't know. Wow, 7:59. Hey, I knew it was going to go quick. All right, let's see. What else do we have going on? That's probably about it. I had a few other stories I want to tell y'all about thunderstorms and tornadoes and all that. We'll save it for next week. Unfortunately, those things aren't going anywhere. We're in our little spring weather in Texas, which means rain and thunderstorms and all that. And then it'll be 120 degrees before you know. So I'll tell y'all some stories next week. But in the meanwhile, guys, hope y'all have a fantastic week. I hope make sure you close all your doors when it's raining outside. Do better than I did. Lesson learned. Well, I'll never do that again. But I hope y'all have a fantastic rest of the week. Before I get out here, just to let y'all know, as I mentioned, maybe macaroni and cheese, surprise drop of a video or something. So please consider subscribing to my channel, turning on notifications, giving a thumbs up if you would, please, because that's always appreciated. And guys, SKD143, love my wife, love my kids, love reality TV, and I love all you guys. Y'all have a great Monday. I will see y'all next Monday. Between now and then, any questions, shoot them to me on DM. We'll include them as topics for next week. Till then, guys, have a great one. Now I got to think about chewing tobacco and macaroni and cheese ice cream. Those are my two projects for the week. All right, guys, and no connection between the two. Wouldn't that be horrible? All right, guys, y'all have a great week, and I will talk to y'all later. Cheers,